Starting at midnight tonight, the Sheriff's Department will no longer detain people for crimes such as theft, shoplifting, drug use, vandalism, battery, and a whole host of other non-serious, non-violent crimes that affect the quality of life of people here in Los Angeles County.
LA Deputy DA John McKinney explains that due to Judge Lawrence Riff's ruling, many people arrested will be released immediately without having to pay bail before their arraignment.
Judge Riff made the point of saying that he implored California officials like the sheriff, the chief of police, the district attorney, the city attorney. He implored them to testify, to explain why he shouldn't issue this order. And he was surprised when no one stood up to challenge it.
No one challenged it. Not LAPD Chief Michael Moore, LA County Sheriff Robert Luna, or District Attorney George Gascon.
Hey, soldiers, that was Deputy District Attorney McKinney characterizing theft and vandalism as non-serious and battery as non-violent. You heard it from his mouth. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about LA's reinstatement of the no cash bail system that some say is going to cause crime to just go out of control. And others say this is totally fair and will help people maintain that presumption of innocence. Where's the truth? Always somewhere in the middle. So we're going over this, guys, because look, these cities are becoming unlivable, uninvestable. Do you really think that buying a house in LA is a good idea right now? If you go over to Big Herc 916, he's a channel here on YouTube that I follow, and he lived in LA for a time. And he was saying on one of his recent videos that if you drive a nice car, maybe you have jewelry on, or you look like you got something going on, maybe you go to a restaurant, have something to eat, valet parks your car, it's quite possible that maybe that valet is connected and is calling up somebody to say, hey, we got a mark here, right? They'll be leaving soon. I'll tip you off when they drive off, right? Another situation is people go into these high-end jewelry stores and buy things and they get followed home. All right. That's what's going on in LA. It's not just going on in LA. We have people here in Baltimore that go to the casinos, and there was a big story a few years ago about how a guy had some winnings and was followed home, and when he got there, he was killed, okay, for his winnings. So I'm not sure if they ever solved that. But listen, the point of the matter is the cities are becoming rather dystopian thanks to, these new policies of defunding the police, rethinking the bail system, so on and so forth. Now, it's a tragedy if any innocent person is behind bars, serving time or in jail for something they did not do. Absolutely. Okay, 100%. Should we have a mechanism by which your innocence is predicated on your ability to pay a bail? I don't think that's optimal. Are we going to be in a situation where some people are guilty of sin and are going to be out on the streets committing more crimes, maybe intimidating witnesses? Absolutely. So we got 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson. He's a multi-millionaire, made his initial money in hip-hop music and then parlayed that over into vitamin water and some other investments. But I bring him up because he has a unique view here. Okay, he understands the street culture while also understanding the what it takes to be very wealthy and maintain businesses. His book is pretty good. So the guy has a very unique outlook on what's going on in America. Very unique. Not many people who are willing to speak as plainly as he does has a foot in or has had a foot in both worlds. 50 Cent has shared his thoughts on Los Angeles' controversial zero bail policy and said the city is, quote, finished, unquote, now that the policy has been reinstated. The policy, which was reinstated in May, states that LA police won't detain people who are accused of misdemeanor crimes, such as burglary, shoplifting, drug use, vandalism, and battery. The law will also free those who are currently incarcerated with these charges and others. Okay, so among those people that will be freed are people who genuinely are innocent. Not all of them are. Let's not even delude ourselves and pretend like 100% of the people that are going to be released are not guilty or innocent of the crime which they've been accused of. Okay. In fact, I would argue that the majority of them did indeed do whatever it is that is being alleged. All right. So you put that back out on the street with a law enforcement apparatus that has been cowed, right, into inaction, complacency, and a reactive state. Sure, we'll show up and file a report, but we're not getting too involved here because we don't want to be called racists, bigots, homophobes, and all that. Plus, I'm a cop. I'm only making what, I don't know. I'm not a millionaire here, and if somebody thinks that something is untoward, I might be looking at losing my job. Okay, best case scenario. So that's the situation around the country with the police forces. And even if it wasn't right now in terms of the strength of the police forces, many of them are drastically understaffed. You can't convince people to become cops today, just like you're having a hard time convincing people to go into the military today here in America because of the woke mind virus and what has been done to destroy those institutions from a perception standpoint. Now, I will say that the cops themselves have played a big part in sullying the reputation of the institution of law enforcement. We've seen some horrific examples of that over the years. So there's that. Okay. Police officers are in a unique position that every last one of them is a public relations officer, whether they know it or not. So yes, they have to deal with the dregs of society on a day-to-day basis. But you know what? Sometimes they also run into people who are working, tax-paying people with no criminal background whatsoever. And some police officers treat those people like crap. Right, I've experienced that, and I don't ever let that ruffle me. I haven't had too many interactions with the police, and all of them have been like traffic-related stuff. And no matter how they treat me, I treat them with respect. They got a gun and arrest powers, okay? And I haven't been stopped by the police since they started wearing camera. Actually, that's not true. When they first started wearing cameras, I was stopped by a Maryland State trooper on one of the highways out here in Maryland. Stopped me for the reason of expired tag. I was treated very professionally, extremely fairly, and he was very polite. Would he have been that way if he didn't have a camera on? I think so, simply because most of the interactions I have had with police have been that way. Even when I ran a red light decades ago and the police officer let me off without a warning, okay? But the interactions that I've had that have been negative have been very few and far between, but they were extremely negative on the part of the police officer. I never lost my cool, or I kept it down the line, yes sir, no sir. And with one of them, I think that actually made them angrier that I wasn't, reacting in kind. But in my experience, most police officers have been totally fair and polite with me in my limited interaction with them. But you still, all of these jurisdictions are having difficulty recruiting police officers because of the environment that we're in today. 50 Cent went on to say, LA is finished. Watch how bad it gets out there. It was just a post he placed on Instagram. And yeah, you're going to release some people out into the general society that were being jailed appropriately because they did what they have been accused of. Battery. So when you go upside somebody's head, all right, and committed an assault. So yeah, I don't know who this McKinney is, that district attorney, but I'm not sure why he doesn't think that's violent or serious. Now, let's just talk Turkey. In the country, we do have a presumption of innocence. Okay? We definitely do. And so you can make an argument. It doesn't even have to be a legal argument for a layman. I'm not a lawyer. For a layman like myself to be able to understand that bail may be problematic if you don't have a whole hell of a lot of proof that this person did what they're accused of doing. Some people objected to 50 Cent's characterization. Not so much his characterization, but some people are supporting the move, okay, to end bail in LA. And they're saying that the reason why they're doing that is because, again, folk have the presumption of innocence, and they're saying, one particular commenter says, in the past, the judge set a cash bail, and if you could not afford it, you stayed in jail until your court date. This was biased toward people from higher income classes because they could actually afford the bail. Look, I'm not going to dispute that. You can certainly make that argument. Imagine someone, and there have been plenty of people who did not do, I don't want to get this guy's name wrong, in New York. I know his last name, Browder, all right, was not guilty, yet he stayed in Rikers Island for a long time. Because there's some other things that come along with this, which is failure to be able to access your speedy trial right. Now, speedy is a relative term, but years, which some of these people sit behind bars for years before their trial, years to me ain't speedy. Anyway, Browder came out of jail after that whole thing was over with, and because of the stresses of, being there. Can you imagine being a person that is 100% innocent and no one's listening to you because you don't have resources to get, a top-notch attorney? You're dealing with a public defender who, he or she, everybody they deal with is innocent, right? They've heard it 1,000 times. Can you imagine how it must feel to be 100% innocent? Not guilty, but innocent. Wasn't there, don't know what happened, I wasn't involved. Yet you can't convince anybody of that. And at the same time, you're in the hell of Rikers Island. That's just unimaginable. But Browder eventually, what he did was the PTSD from that caused him to, caused him to leave this realm on his own accord. Got to be careful what I say here on YouTube, but you guys are smart. You understand what I'm saying. So everyone who commits these offenses will be able to stay home until their court date, just like people with money used to be able to do. Now, everybody staying home is definitely going to contribute to the criminal activity in LA County. Because again, everybody is not innocent. Okay? Everybody is not guilty. So you got to take the good with the bad. If you live in LA and you promote this policy, just understand that crime is going to increase, because the people that are innocent, they're going to go about trying to prove that and, improving their lives and doing whatever they're doing, working, taking care of their families, while the criminal element is going to do what it does, what it can be relied upon to do, which is engage in additional criminal activity until somebody deals with them in one way or the other. Which may mean they are sentenced to decades behind bars. So, there we have it with regard to how that policy is going to shake out. So what do? Well, you got to get the hell out of these urban areas, these large cities. Come on, man. This is 2023. Let's wake up. Now, I know that many people, I won't say most, but many people are in a situation where the job is located in a particular place, okay? They're making a certain amount of money, but let's go again with our redefinition of wealth. Wealth also has a peace of mind component, all right? Americans, Europeans, the folks from the Pacific Islands, folks from the Caribbean Islands, they got a totally different outlook when it comes to working to live versus living to work. And we in America need to adopt a different mindset and say, you know what? Let me just totally reject consumerism. I don't need all this stuff that's being pushed upon me. I don't need to get in debt for the latest car. I don't need to get in debt for the biggest house or the fanciest piece of jewelry. Peace of mind. Maybe, just maybe, I would be happy with less in terms of materialism, more in terms of assets that grow and can benefit generations of my family, more in terms of, a little plot of land somewhere off the beaten path where you don't have to continue to participate in the rat race, where you can make a living and do things because we got the power of the internet right now. You can reach out to all four corners of the globe. This little teeny tiny channel that you're watching right now on YouTube, we've got literally a global audience. There are people who are subscribers to this channel from every continent on Earth except Antarctica. And if I can find a scientist at McMurdo Station that can hit subscribe, if you're out there, go ahead, let's make it 7 continents. All right. So LA is going to see a higher rate of crime. That's just undoubtable. You think it's, interesting now? We want to watch the San Franciscoing of LA happen in real time. So rethink wealth. Do you have to be in LA? Is it that important? Is it worth your sanity? Is it worth being the victim of battery and the deputy district attorney says that that's not violent? Is that really a place you want to live in? And a lot of these other jurisdictions are going that way too. I've got a parachute. I'm ready to pull the ripcord on Baltimore County because we came within a hair's breadth of having a Soros-backed DA, we call him the state's attorney, win this last election. Now, the guy who's been doing a great job, who's a Democrat, by the way, been doing a great job for many years now. He's got 4 more years, and I've told everybody, you better be the hell out of here or have a plan, because in 4 years, we're going to get somebody that's to the left. I don't believe that things are going to get better. I believe that they're going to continue to get worse in terms of crime. So, guys, look, a lot of things are changing in this world. The media, though, they want you to believe otherwise. They're not telling you the truth. A lot of things that are happening out there, you can't even find it on Google without having to search exhaustively and creatively to dig for what's really happening. Now, one of the things that the media is currently trying to convince you of is that the central bank digital currency is not going to steal your freedom. It is. They are attacking John F. Kennedy Jr. and Ron DeSantis. Now, what's unique about that, this is a bipartisan attack. RFK Jr., of course, is a Democrat, while DeSantis is a Republican. But both of them see the danger in the CBDC. What other candidate besides Vivek Ramaswamy is talking about this? Well, they're getting attacked for it. Check this out. And also, on this video, you're going to see why NBC is lying and why you do have something to fear from the CBDC. But you need to get ready now in order to mitigate that so you can stay on the road to independence, financial and otherwise. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.